everyone. Welcome back to Absolute Comics. My name is Benny. That is Sal. I'm from Comic Story, and he's from Comic Pop, and I haven't had lunch. These are Flaming Hot Cheetos. All right, so today, not a sponsor, but we're not against it.
Hey, listen, Cheetos, hello.
So we haven't done it. I feel like we haven't done an episode in a while. Did we just do one last week?
Yeah.
So whatever. What comics you been reading, Sal?
Oh, man, yeah. I didn't read this week's books because I just didn't have time. I shot my show, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, yesterday. I was going to shoot back issues, then I remembered I didn't have a book ready. So we just did that. And then I'm shooting today or tomorrow. I'm shooting today and tomorrow. So nothing.
I mean, what I've read.
Right?
I was catching up with Power Rangers so we can finally get it on the channel. I've read a whole
Good
bunch
idea.
of manga. But I don't think I read anything like Batman or Superman related. Tried to
No.
get into the Green Arrow issue 1 and 2 from Donna DC.
Yeah.
I didn't get as into it as I thought I was going to.
It's very steeped in Green Arrow. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Green Arrowisms in it. Like, and the huge Green Arrow family and everything. Yeah.
So
if
I
you're
didn't
not
get
like,
as into that one as I thought. Action Comics, I finally caught up on that one again. That was really good. I really enjoyed what Action Comics bringing back Cyborg Superman, but I love the fact that the whole family's involved.
Mm-hmm. I saw a cool page of that, and I was like, "That's neat." But I'm not
They're all
reading
flying
it.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I do love. I love Superman, the solo title.
Yeah, that one's really good. I love that it was 3 issues, and now we're already just going into the next big arc.
We're doing mini arcs. It's just like it's gonna be 3 issues, 2 issues, 3 issues, 4 issues.
And I'm down with that. I'm down with nice and quick little, like buttoned up, nice and neat arcs. They're really good.
Yeah.
Have you read Miles and Carnage Reigns Alpha?
No, I'm not reading any Spider books.
Miles is great. Why wouldn't you read that?
I don't really. Like, I don't. I feel like I've heard some great stuff about like the new writer who has taken. Is it Saladin Ahmed who's doing?
No, he left. It's a new writer taking over now. Yeah.
Okay, I hear the new writer is doing a great job with that book, but I
only have one complaint so far.
Yeah.
Rabble's the new villain, and in the Rabble arc, he gets that new power, the lightning sword thing he can do.
Yeah, I don't.
But the villain's motivation is the worst I've ever seen.
Ugh.
Her motivation is her and Miles were both in line to get into this prestigious school, and he got the grant.
Oh my god!
So she created like hard light, like constructs to walk on and create. I'm like, you made all of this crazy shit, and your answer was get revenge of the kid who got the grant instead of you,
right? You because you could just sell that, and you'd get more than the grant, and go to that school,
Yeah.
Or be an entrepreneur for the rest of your life.
Or just be a villain with a better motivation. Like,
well, that's all we got. He's a kid. I see a lot of like covers that are exciting. Like since no one is doing Thor right now, like Donny Cates just kind of went like, all right, well, bye.
Dude, I tried to catch up on the post Donny Cates. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not digging it at all.
The covers are great, but like I couldn't care less. I read one of them, maybe it was 32, and I was like, this sucks.
I read the newest one. It's got Doom and Thanos in it. I'm like, there's no way this is bad.
No way you can make that boring.
It's boring.
Yeah, that's exact. I knew it was going to be boring the second you mentioned it, because I'm like, it is boring. It's a boring book.
How have you not heard about the Thor Thanos Doctor Doom encounter?
Right.
Like,
and then found out it sucks.
Yeah.
But Al Ewing is taking over Thor forgivably, and so it's going to be cool. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. But I'm exciting.
Well, I want to bring this back to our Superman topic, because in these Superman books, Power Girl got renamed to PG or Peach, which turned into Paige, and apparently that's what they're going to try calling her.
Good luck.
That's our first major topic, because you got a book out where they got rid of the mental powers already. That took 5 months.
Yeah. I mean, none of the power is supposed to stick. It was just supposed to be like this kind of fun, like, hey, here's the thing. Like, here's some switcheroos and some attempts,
I mean, John still can go Super Saiyan.
Yes. Well, John is also doing depending on who's writing him, he's doing his own thing.
What do you mean?
Well, he's either in the Injustice universe, or he's in Action Comics, or he's like, you know what I mean? Like he's either here or not, depending on what you're doing with him.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess you're right on that. But Tom Taylor's continuing the power thing. But I just find the Power Girl situation and the Paige situation, like, Here's my question. I'm
Yeah.
not against making Power Girl not just be Kara Danvers from another universe. I'm not against
Right.
that at all. I'm perfectly fine with that. But why?
Exactly.
Is there like a crazy Power Girl fan base that I'm unaware of that really wants to see a proper resurgence of Power Girl?
I think the real question is there an audience out there that would like Power Girl better if she weren't the way that she is currently? And that is the answer that they need to come up with. And I think that it seems like DC is always trying to answer or address questions or criticisms that they've never had before.
Yeah.
And it's like, is Power Girl a problem at all? Especially if she doesn't have enough of a fan base to support her own book anymore. So what does it matter if she's called anything? Like
Well, they're
just
changing her name and the outfit.
right. Well, because the outfit for them, I can imagine, is like what one might call problematic. I know a lot of people have a real problem with the outfit. I know a lot of people have a lot of reverence for the outfit. Like there are two camps about it, and as Marvel will teach you, even though we're talking about DC, but people like to look over the fence at each other. You could imagine that controversy sells, and if we get people upset enough, maybe both camps will buy the Power Girl book that we're tossing out there. The
I'm going to
problem
become
is,
controversial. I'm going to become controversial
please,
right
yes.
now, Sal.
Okay. All right, here we go.
When did boobs become a problem?
Right.
I'm all for, the over the top women who are straight up supposed to be objectified.
Mhm.
There's a time and place for that. It shouldn't be in our regular comic books. I'm fine with that.
Right.
But at what point did we get to Power Girl needs to fully cover up when her character design for 30 years has been this? And she's already not popular enough to support the book based on that.
Uh-huh.
So now we're going to give her a new book, a brand new outfit, and a new name. So it's
Yes.
just not Power Girl.
Right. It's you're basically creating a new character, but you know that doesn't sell like rebranding an old character, so you do that. I imagine that I don't want to touch upon this too much because I don't want to make the conversation about the boob window or about like the controversy
I
surrounding
mean, that's the
Power Girl.
problem with Power Girl, though, because that is what she's always been about.
Exactly. And I know that like the problem that people have, and when I say people, I mean detractors of the book, and the character and the outfit, is that she was designed and created by a man, and her boob window could be construed as it being solely for like eye candy, and it has no real purpose. I've heard explanations given for the boob window. I've heard like there used to be a crest there and she ripped it off because she didn't feel like she belonged. I've heard that she does it as a way of distraction. I've heard at least 3 or 4 different pitches for the boob window, and I have heard on numerous occasions most women and feminist authors basically reject those answers, just being like, those are not good enough answers for her to have a boob window. And especially if the boob window and everything associated with Power Girl was created by a man, like just by the virtue of her being engineered by a dude, it is exploitative in nature. And
Right.
I understand that argument.
But here's my counter to that argument. If that is what she's made for, and you can look at it from both points of view, there's
Right.
going to be, you could look at it from the more feminist side where it is like, oh, that was just made for a man's male gaze. And
Exactly.
you might be right, but it could also have just been made because they were just having fun. And that may also be right. I'm not picking a side on that.
No, totally.
My argument is, why has she been completely changed? Is there such a group? If she is such a problem, if
Mhm.
boobs are such a problem in comics,
Right.
then retire Power Girl.
Right.
Don't bring her back. Change her name, change her outfit, change everything about her.
Exactly.
Just make a whole new character.
I mean, especially if the controversy that you're engineering about her is her name, her boob window, and her powers, and not using some other tried and true comic book method of controversy, like killing her off in some kind of big heroic display. So
in
she's
somebody else's comic.
in somebody else's care. That's a great way to get people to start talking about it. Listen, people are talking about that. So I mean, like whether
Yeah.
that is gross and terrible or not, it is marketable. But yeah, and the other problem that I have with the argument overall is that like I don't really care about Power Girl. Like she's not one of my favorite characters. She's not even one of my least favorite characters. Like I don't hate her. I don't love her. I don't really care one way or the other. So I don't really feel,
I mean,
any
as a
sort of
younger
strong
Benny,
feelings. Yeah.
as a younger Benny, I did read her stories. And they're okay. They were never like, oh my God, Power Girl stories. Younger Benny definitely was going off of like, I don't know what the boob window is. but
Yeah.
I want to read this character.
It's funny because when I was a kid, Power Girl was not one of those characters that I was like, oh man, boob window. As a kid, I never interpreted it as that. Now it's a case by case basis. It's very distinct. I think that Gen 13 is 100% more exploitative
Oh
than
yeah.
Power Girl, but I understand and I'm willing to go with the flow as far as culture is concerned. Um, the issue is overall, I'm just like, well, just do you have a strong pitch for Power Girl? I mean, arguably the one everyone really points to is the Amanda Connor run on Power Girl because
Yeah.
people really like responded to her new art and style and the attitude associated with the character. But she's always kind of just not fit. No pun intended. But she's never really fit in the DC universe because she's always since her inception practically she's been an outsider. She's from
Yeah.
she's from a displaced reality, and she's a duplicate. It's like Donna Troy. Like you see, there are fewer Power Girl and Donna Troy stories than any other of their complements, like Supergirl or Wonder Woman.
Huntress is another one that gets kind of regulated to like the background all the time.
Absolutely. Well, because Huntress was originally like the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, and then they went like, well, we can't have that. And so then they just were like, but I like the outfit. So let's just make her a completely new character. Like Helena Bertinelli is just not Huntress. I mean,
Yeah.
or rather, she is Huntress. Helena Wayne is nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, you know
Like,
what's funny is have you been reading Justice Society of America?
no, but I know that like that's where a lot of this is coming from because Johns is like kind of playing with his own whole corner of the DC universe. I assume Helena Wayne, the Huntress, is in that.
Yep. And she just went looking for her dad in that one because she just stopped the first villain. So, like, the plot is
dad?
she is from the future. She came back in time. She's teamed up with the Justice Society. She is the child of Catwoman and Batman in the proper timeline.
But is
And
she the
now
Helena
she's her-
Wayne that's created by Tom King that was in the Batman Catwoman series? That is
No,
about different times?
they established at the beginning that she is a time traveling Helena Wayne from
From that
the
Earth,
future.
like from
Yeah.
that. Okay, all right. Well, I mean, like that's neat, and DC is one of the few places where you can play with those stories and do that. There are a lot of stories pre-crisis where, not a lot, but there are enough that I can remember them. Where Helena and Batman have like a rapport. Where he's like, I know you're my daughter from the future, and sometimes they team up and stuff, and it's like weird. I can imagine that really baffles Batman, where he's like, there's my future daughter with my enemy whom I punch sometimes. What do I do with this? But he never has existential dread about it. He's just kind of like, oh, hi, Huntress, come on with me. Like, it's just like, okay, that's weird. And maybe, actually, that's funny. I never thought about this. Because when Helena Bertinelli was created and when she became more prolific, and of course, to tie it in with Power Girl, she also had kind of a more sexy exploitative costume as well. But
Did she
Batman,
Huntress having a sexy outfit?
I mean, it really depends on how you interpret it. Like, she never had a boob window, but Batman had a real chip on his shoulder about Helena Bertinelli. He's like, I don't like you. Get out of my city. Could it be like residual crisis energy where he's like, because you're not my daughter, I don't like you, or he's like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, could there be some kind of angry, crisis, precognitive kind of reason for him being so, callous towards Bertinelli? But I don't know.
I found the sexy version, and I totally forgot this was an era. I found, and to make it even better, I found the art germ version.
Oh no! Yeah,
I forgot that they basically were just like, yeah, you're in a tube top and bikini bottom because they got to match up with Power Girl,
right? And it's like, for what reason? Like, why not just cover her head to toe?
Here's my argument, though, and I know I'm in a minority with this, and I know I'm in a minority that is also a very loud, angry, that group over there group.
Yes.
But I get the problem with this to an extent.
Right. But you're also like, what is the problem with this?
But but what is the actual problem? Because how is this any different than a ripped shirtless guy? Like, shouldn't the answer to this, instead of giving her a full body outfit, which is what she's in now, or covering up the boob window and playing it down, shouldn't we just get more ripped guys everywhere that are shirtless? Shouldn't Batman be doing more Batwang everywhere?
I mean,
like everyone's like, equality means that we're going to cover up all the women. No, Show me more bat dick.
Yeah. The problem is when you do that, you have to have like an all hands on deck meeting and completely restructure your new publishing
You're
initiative.
not wrong. That was what they did.
But the other thing is, like I've seen, like, look, if you look at like the last issue, Superman 75, the Death of Superman sequence, Superman is practically just wearing his red underwear shorts and that's it. I think he honestly is wearing full ass pants, but he has this shirt that's kind of like ripped like Tarzan. And he
So
is
that was
like,
War World, not the Death.
no. In Death of Superman by Dan Jurgens, that issue, he has like this whole ripped shirt. Like his shirt is ripped. It's all torn off, and he's just like buff, and he's got a hairy chest and everything. And I can imagine
this whole topic is just turned into
like just checking out naked superheroes. But the issue, but one could say like that's kind of exploitative, but like nobody cried foul on that. The War World suit, which has been established as a sex costume that he wears when he bangs Lois Lane.
Well, why is this not a problem? But Helena Bernelli can't have her stomach out.
Right.
Like,
I mean, and the reality is like this image right here, right? That is a like Frazetta homage. If you look at like other images from Frank Frazetta, he has, Conan-esque barbarian warlords who have like fur thongs but equally, clad women. It's an equal opportunity universe where people are just showing off what God gave them. And, I don't know why like we cancel it in comics, but we don't in like art. And I think it's about intent. I think at the end of the day, it's about intent. It's about like what we're doing and what the audience is for. High art or sculptures. You look at like Greco-Roman art and like everyone's naked in those, and it's like, but who is that for? What is the intended audience?
I mean, that's a good point.
In the art world, because you have an art background, but like the intended audience for art is everyone versus comic books, which of course, largely in the West, we regard them as for children. So at that point, what's the purpose of giving Power Girl, an adult woman, a boob window if you're making it in a comic book designed for children? Is it to titillate, or is it to like what is it? Is it provocative? If so, why? And then at the end of the day, what is the intent behind it? And so, or is it art and doesn't matter? And so, stop asking that question. And I think that like there are arguments to be made on both sides, but I get it. It's because at the end of the day, as much as I do regard comics and I do believe they're art, I don't know if Power Girl's costume is the same thing as like Michelangelo's David. You know what I mean?
And I agree with you to an extent.
And Superman doesn't wear that all the time. And the other thing is he's wearing that in bondage.
Your collection.
I can't wait. Thanks, Todd. But like
bondage Superman,
right? But he's wearing that in bondage. He's forced to wear that. It's not like it's like why Disney stops using the Leia bikini, because like her nickname in the Star Wars universe, why that metal bikini that Leia wears, Slave Leia. She's not wearing that because she thinks that it's empowering. She's wearing that because Jabba the Hutt forced her to wear it. Now, she did own it by murdering him in that costume and taking the chain that she was chained to on that suit and choking him out with it. But again, if you gave her the choice between like a sensible Endor suit and a slave bikini, she's probably going to pick the Endor suit over the slave bikini. So yeah.
I feel like we've entered into a weird era, because I was going through the Power Girl book to show that she's also drawn differently. She's much more flat chested. She's much more.
Is she like? They dialed it back?
They definitely did. And what I'm getting at with this, and I did not think this is where this discussion was going, but I'm totally going to lean into it.
Sure.
I don't understand why American comic books recently have decided to start dumbing down one of the things that's all about comics. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't Heavy Metal 2000. I'm not looking for porn in my comics.
I don't know if a heavy metal is porn. I think I would be very careful to call it pornography.
You're right. I won't officially call it porn, but we're definitely on the cusp of.
And folk would definitely. There's no shortage of people who think that is just derivative and meant to titillate, and there's no substance to it. That's Heavy Metal 2000, certainly more so than Heavy Metal. They're both music videos that are just 90 minutes long.
Yeah, they are. But they've toned it down. And maybe the argument, if this is being marketed for kids, I agree with that. I never considered Power Girl to be, because I consider comic books to be more 13 to like the 20 range.
At this point,
leaning towards 18 to 20, people with disposable income that are going to buy comic books.
Sure.
But there was a day when Benny would take $5 and go buy his comics at the store.
Yeah.
So I could see the argument that these are for kids. But my counterpoint to that, Sal, And if
Yeah.
you're wondering why I keep unsharing, it's because when you're searching for this stuff, you don't know what you're gonna get, and I don't want us banned. So
That's fair. No, absolutely. Well, because you could probably get a ton of fan art or just
yeah.
just art that was you because you know there's like a backbreaking pose that was popularized and it was
See,
only
things like
around
that,
during the 90s. Like and
that
that
I agree with. Okay, that's going too
deliberately
far.
exploitative. That was made so that it's like you
Yeah.
can see the goods on both sides and it's like that's why? Why? To what end? And it's like that is deliberately. I mean, look at the the Dynamite books and how like they're all like these sexy covers. Is it Dynamite or is it yeah, where it's like the help me out
Zenoscope.
here. Thank you, Zenoscope. I
Zenoscope, who you're
apologize.
thinking of.
Apologies to Dynamite. But no, the Zenoscope covers where it's like, what is the point of those? And you know damn well what the point of those Zenoscope covers is.
Oh,
And it,
yeah. Well, I mean, they got Z-Tech covers, which are literally just nudes. For those who are
yes,
curious, I'm pulling up an example of the back-breaking pose that is very prominent.
yeah, that's
Wait,
right. Where it's like you can see both sides. The weird thing is, this looks more new than it should, which
I
is
don't.
really a
I mean,
problem.
this is Miss Marvel, so it's 2010 or
Oh
before that.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, all right, yeah. That
this is Miss Marvel. But I mean,
Mhm.
this is this. I agree. This is exploitative.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
This
that's
is in
too much.
comics. This exists. She has literally got a back-breaking pose. She's
Yep.
conveniently leaning so you get like full side boob.
Uh huh.
Also, I don't know how her crotch is popping out like that. Like,
That's it's a lot. And
yeah,
by the way,
there's a lot
not
in
like
this pose.
and by the way, like my issue is I don't consider it pornographic because she's not real and it's a
No,
man probably and I apologize if it isn't but like a man drawing her so and it is in a book that is geared towards
Wonder
younger
Woman
readers so
doing a very similar back-breaking pose, but
right
this
like
kid somehow angled along with the boob window.
yeah
And
I don't know
you
what
know, I think this right here, this is an example.
that is 100% it because there's no way she could do that.
There's no way you could bend it where your boobs and your butt are both facing this
Well,
way.
and you'll never see Batman or Superman or Spider-Man making that pose. Well, maybe Spider-Man,
I
but
mean,
only
I'll
by
find an
accident.
example in a minute,
Yeah,
but
but, like, you'll never see any of them in a genuine comic book doing that because that's not the intent, right? And it's like,
right.
that's the intent. Right here, the intent is to make Wonder Woman like, sexy, and when I say sexy, I put quotation marks around it, for younger readers, probably. Or it's trying to poach older readers. I don't know what the motivation behind it is, but I don't like, but I don't know what that might be. My issue is like, I remember that Spider-Woman cover that came out a couple years ago, and people were like,
Oh, where he got
freaking,
accused of taking it from porn. I think it
yeah,
was directly from porn, but
right. I think it was. I don't remember what the like subject was, but I know that like it was an Italian artist. He's known for drawing that, and they tapped him to do it, and so Spider-Woman's doing this like this pose that's like, what is this? And I know that it brought up a lot of it stirred up a lot of emotions and feelings from people on both sides. But like my thing is, like I don't I find the human body to be a work of art, regardless of shape, size, or whatever.
yeah,
And I think that if it is depicted in any artistic expression, then it qualifies for art, and and only by the scrutiny of its of its your peers can you determine whether it is or not. And what makes a sculpture or a painting from 400 years ago art versus a comic book panel, I am not the judge. I am
yeah.
neither qualified nor intelligent enough to make that rationalization. But I will say that, like, I think at the end of the day, it's all about intent. And I think that, like, I don't know what the Italian artist's intent was for the
That's
Spider-Woman
very good.
cover. I don't know about this, like that Ms. Marvel like pose. But one can extrapolate, and being art, it's all up to interpretation. So one can interpret any of those things as either exploitative or empowering, depending on who you are and where it's from. And but I welcome those discussions, and I don't know if it necessarily means that those discussions need to end, nor do I think that it means that art that pushes boundaries should stop. But I also think that like there is a time where that occurred and we move past it, and there's
Yeah.
new ways to express both exploitation and equal opportunity and more measured understanding of how to reach your audience using art. Again, also these are comic books, these are commercial properties. Not, but Picasso worked for money. Like these are all commercial.
Yeah.
Yes, and what's funny is Dick Grayson is is the ultimate argument that every anti-feminist or anti-discussion brings up, because like, well, what about the exploitation of Dick Grayson? And it's funny because you see a lot of like I've seen it, and I don't want to say that like it's a thing. I don't want to make a blanket statement out of it, but like I have seen a fair amount of people who have decried exploitative female art participate in the discussion of like, but don't Dick Grayson's butt look good? And but for me, I'm just like, sing it, sister, knock yourself out. Like, I'm all about it. And I think it's wonderful that Dick Grayson is not necessarily exploited, but I think it's wonderful that there is at least something that's good for the goose and good for the gander. It's like, well, we might as well like, I remember
that's I know people are going to look at this, and there's going to be at least one or two fans that are going to be like, oh, so it's just two white bearded guys talking.
Here we go, and they're going to clip something that we said out of context, and it's going to be stupid.
Right. My point isn't that I just want every woman in comic books to be exploited. I don't want that.
No.
I'm just wondering, why are we completely changing some of them when like Power Girl's known for the boob window,
right?
And you either know what the history behind it is, or what the exploitation is, or what's going on.
Yeah.
Just to retire her. Just
like,
retire the character.
What really kills me about the boob window is like, all right, I get it, and we've heard the story. Like there are, I'm sure, 3 different YouTube video essays explaining the origins of the boob window.
Oh yeah,
and but the rumor that I had heard, and I'm not going to verify it right now. Feel free to do it, yourself, ladies and gentlemen. But is that like her bust size was increased via other artists as a way of like one-upping each other, that it was like an internal male-dominated joke using a character as a vehicle for that joke. And if that's true, boo. But also, time changes context, and in this particular case, Power Girl has large boobs, right? Like and she is known for that. And when I say known for that, I wish that it weren't that was the thing that she is known for as a character. And I think that, like, because I genuinely couldn't name more than a couple, if any, stories in which she features prominently. But I do know her, set against the pantheon of DC. I've seen her in context. There was a great fan film made like 20 years ago starring her that was about her, like, trying to find her way in the city, in a super dominated town. And it's like, it was one of the few like real fun explorations of that character where I'm like, all right, good for Power Girl. She's kind of tough and she's kind of jaded, and but in a very different way from like Supergirl, who went through like severe trauma throughout her life.
Yeah.
But like, also, if we're going to celebrate shapes and sizes in comic books and in art, there are women who have big boobs. And why I get covering up the window, but like, why reduce the size? And I'm not saying that like, then I'm not saying that because like, well, because it's a slippery slope and one day they'll all have no rack. It's like that. I think that's outrageous. And I think it's a straw man argument and a bullshit claim. But I also think that like, if she has certain endowments and she owns them as a character, because that's certainly one attribute of that character that I remember from like the Amanda Conner run, and I've seen in like Kingdom Come, for example. But like, there's a bunch of books that she's in where she's like, this is who I am. And I'm like, right on. Don't change her physical attributes because you think you're solving a problem, again, that like isn't really there. Like, the problem that she has big boobs, or is the problem that she got big boobs from a male-dominated conversation and joke at the expense of a female fictional character? Arguably, that is the case. But that joke is over, and it's been over for decades.
Mm-hmm.
We're not.
Well, and that's what we get with this.
Fixing things by just arbitrarily altering a character design.
I just feel like at this point she should be retired, leave her alone, or like, I mean, it's just as bad. I just showed Superman, but that was a whole run for like 20 issues. It's all over the place. I just don't know why we're now changing characters. Like, I agree with, don't make new characters that way. Don't make someone else running around in a bathing suit right now. You
Right.
know, with a demographic, and I looked it up, demographics for comics was 63% male, but there's 37% women.
Is it really 63? Because I feel like
According
that's
to
pretty,
this, yeah.
because I think that's great compared to what it probably was only 15 years ago.
And you know, part of that may be changing characters like Power Girl, but just retire her. Make new characters.
Right. I
Don't
don't
give
know.
her a jacket and shrink her proportions
See,
down
for-
because what are
for
we
me, I
doing?
don't
You
even
gave her
think
new powers.
I think just don't retire her. Don't entertain pitches that aren't interesting or
Yeah.
don't actually add value to the character. Because like I think
I mean,
that,
if this is to be believed, and I have not read this particular issue all the way through myself. I didn't know she
Fair.
came out with a special,
Mhm.
but they changed her name, they lowered her proportions, and
Right.
they're covering up some of it. They're like, it's there, but
Yeah, as from what you showed me, like it's like there is some kind of boob window because the reality is like breasts are arguably feminine. They are an expression of femininity. They are as an essential component of the design, so to speak, and regardless of size or any of that. And it's like I'm thinking about like breast cancer awareness and how like I remember this campaign is called Save the Tatas,
yeah, I
right?
remember that.
And I'm like, and I remember as a kid being like, wow, they can get away with saying tatas. And it's like, yeah, because like we're owning it and we're talking about them openly and we're having a frank and rational discussion about like the female body. And if Power Girl owns it, then let her. And I think that the solution, arguably the solution to Power Girl, is to entertain. And I don't have a clear-cut perfect solution for Power Girl besides like your suggestion of just like put her away until the world's ready for her again. I mean,
Yeah.
the reality is like that is unfortunate, but it is also like an easy solution. I think a much more difficult solution is something like I will only entertain the best pitches for Power Girl. Like
I can see that.
because you could take
There's
a half
also a point to be made here.
Oh, please.
I want us to move forward because this entire episode is talking about Benny and Sal's talking about boobs and Nightwing's butt.
It's gonna work. I mean, people like it. But also, well, and to the point of Dick Grayson's keister, I think that there are some who might point at that and go, "We've solved the problem."
Yeah.
We're just gonna foist all of any objectification from both gays and women onto Dick Grayson. And I'm like, that's not fair, nor is it really an actual solution. You're just saying that and then applying it to one character. But like the reality is everyone in the DC universe is cut. Like you could make everyone exploited. And what's funny about that is in the 90s. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, Box brings up in our chat.
Oh, please, yes.
Ugly characters don't succeed, be it male
Unless
or
they're
female
villains.
gays. Unless they're villains, they're considered a villain. But like, ugly characters don't succeed. They need to be good-looking women or good-looking guys. Like, I'm never gonna get jacked like Bruce Wayne or Superman or Nightwing.
Well, like
or
ideal.
even the scrawny ones. I'm not gonna be Peter Parker. Like he's scrawny, although he gets jacked depending who writes him.
It depends on who's drawing it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is like it goes both ways.
Yes.
And I feel like we're always in this mode of like, well, we got to cover up the women because they were being exploited. But all the guys are also like
because they're wearing like body clinging outfits. Like it leaves nothing to the imagination. You're essentially just
women wear that too in the comics. Like
that's true, but like yes, and I'm not saying that it's like. And by the way, I'm not going like, and so we're good. But I am saying that like, but like the male outfits are usually like form fitting, but they also have no penises because if they did, you'd see them because
and
of how
then Batman
tight their
gets
costumes
canceled
are.
and they change all the book lines again.
And you only saw it because he took his clothes off because he was in a vulnerable moment. Batman Damned is a good comic book, but like the. But you know,
Here's got naked Batman. Everyone, we got Batwing.
Yeah. If you can find it.
I do want to comment here.
Yeah.
In a mainline comic, we saw Batwang before we saw a topless woman.
That's true. Well, no, that's not true. Well, in a mainline comic book,
mainline. I mean, comics with topless women exist. That's
yeah, but no, there are a couple that snuck through. There's a topless Black Canary in a Dan Jurgens drawn Green Arrow book, which you can find as well. But
really?
Yeah, Google
Googling that. I'm not going to put that on the share screen. That's not going up.
Well, and in a lot of like Vertigo books, you can see topless people. There's
but Vertigo, I wouldn't count as main line. I mean, that's
okay. How about this? In a Batman book, you see Wonder Woman's nipple. and
When's
that is in Batman: The Dark Knight 3: The Master Race. She's breastfeeding. And
But the breastfeeding's a whole different argument.
I know, but they drew it, and it's in there, and it came out around the same time as Batman Damned, and it was like, no one freaked out about that. And not that I'm saying that, like, one argument's right over the other, I'm just saying that's hypocritical, and I'm saying the Batman Damned got maligned and thrown off, the whole damn thing got screwed up because of,
Yeah.
like, terrible DC leadership and
The worst part
management.
about the Batman penis scene is that it wasn't even like prominently there. It was just the outline.
It's in shadow, and it's just like, but
Yeah.
it's drawn by like a European artist who's trying to do something interesting and provocative, and
Oh, it was provocative.
yeah, and I wish DC had owned it. I say that a lot, but like I really wish DC, like Jim Lee should have done the freaking talk show circuit. They get all their little jokes out, Batwang, and then he can go, yeah, that's true. And it's $6, and then you get a really immature comic book. Of course, it's not aimed for children. It's actually a book made for adults. It's from our Black Label line. You can see a lot more of that if you're interested in that kind of thing. I guess good for you. If you thought that Batman's dick was in any way provocative in this book, then I guess you're also banned from museums and art shows because it's
I think
context.
I know this sounds like we've just done 45 minutes of discussing, basically the boob windows and women objectification.
Yeah.
I am an art major, a former art major. I do sketches in the morning. I don't look at something like the boob window. And I know some people do. And I know it's all about subjectification and all about what you want to look at and stuff like that. But I don't look at that as, okay, man, I can't wait to see Power Girl's boobs. I mean,
no.
If I want to see naked women, you know how easy that is in the internet.
There's no shortage. Yeah.
When I was like 14, I lived in a pretty poor part of town. And down the road, there was a porn shop. And I remember it was so hard to find naked women that I went to the porn shop to dig through their dumpster to get porn.
Oh my god, that's a tale as old as time. I understand.
Well, the point I'm making is it's easily accessible now.
Exactly.
I'm not arguing make Power Girl nude. I just, from an art background, don't understand why things like the Venus de Milo and like the topless women from the Greek and Roman era and things like that. That's okay.
Yeah.
But now we have modern art and we can't have anything even close to voluptuous, beautiful women. We have to, everyone has to be flattened out. We got to cover them all up. And what's going on with that?
But the funny thing is, it's not like that. Like, it's not like they did it across the board. It's not like they lowered Wonder Woman's chest size. It's not like they
even Zenoscope doesn't do it anymore. The Cheesecake covers are pretty much gone.
Yeah, but they still, I mean, like, they do them, but in a different way, right? Because it's still a idealized female form on the cover. It's still in some kind of outfit that is not found in polite society. Like, it's in some way trying to ape off of what they know and works. It's just that, like, you'll see these are what are known as half measures. Like, look over here at how we're fixing things by altering Power Girl's appearance, and look at how we don't do literally anything like that ever again with any other character. Like, they did this before with Starfire. Starfire was another one who's like sexually open and incredibly unrepressed, and also designed in a very provocative, some might argue, outfit, and has always been in some kind of incredibly like revealing costume until someone realized, oh my god, most people know about Starfire because of a children's cartoon in which she's depicted as a 13-year-old, and we're alienating readers and potential new audience members, and more importantly, we're alienating women from getting into the goddamn comic book industry.
Starfire, I will agree. If Power Girl had a cartoon right now and was aimed at young women, then I would 100%.
I would totally get it. No, this is a
half
measure.
I don't think she's in any cartoons though.
No. Power Girl is not. I mean, maybe she appeared in that Justice League action show, which like 8 people watched. But like,
wasn't there DC superhero girls? Is she in that?
Oh, I don't know. I would hope, but then again, I would be like, well, I wonder if that's.
It's got a boob window.
I mean, but remember they couldn't use her or something like that. There's Galatea, which is like a Supergirl.
They got
clone
Supergirl.
That was in the
Supergirl's
Justice League
primarily
cartoon.
in there.
But what's funny
Look
is
at this. Hold on. This is okay in the children's cartoon, but when we get to her actual comic, we can't do this.
There's no way that's real. That's got to be fan art.
I swear that's it.
It's no way.
That's the cartoon.
I don't know if that's true. It could be. Well, I've never seen the cartoon.
That's a cartoon.
Okay, that is Power Girl's
See,
costume.
Chad is like, that's real.
Okay, if that's
So-
real, then
So
like
we could do that in a kid's cartoon, but we got to change her up when it goes
Right.
to a comic.
if anything, just keep it consistent. You know, it's not like
Keep it consistent.
keep it consistent. Look, I think, and maybe I'm just like some
Like,
dumb
I'm
male.
agreeing with you, Sal. Changing
Right.
Starfire made total sense.
Total sense.
Like, she literally became a character whose whole theme was, "I'll sleep with anybody." And then we go, she's 13, hanging out with Robin. You're like,
Well-
ah.
Well, and like it was just it's just smart business sense because you know let's say you're a little girl and you're watching Teen Titans because like it's on and you identify with Starfire and she is brave and sweet and compassionate and she's your age or she's your older sister's age and you want to be her and you hear that there's 1,000 stories about her in the comic books and you pick up the brand new issue of Teen Titans from Scott Lobdell and you get the issue where she's like, would you like to have sex with me? And she's wearing nothing.
Exactly. That
She's
one
never going to read another comic book again.
Yeah.
And she's
Like,
going
I
to feel
even agree, like-
unwelcome.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you 100%. And I 100% agree with that. And I'm not saying make Power Girl sexually promiscuous.
Right.
My
And that's-
question is just
I don't think
why,
that's true. I don't think she ever is.
No. Isn't she 9 times out of 10, isn't she the one that doesn't even date anyone because she's like, leave me alone, I'm on my own?
Yeah, if they really wanted to like do something interesting with her, make her asexual. You know? Like since they seem to
Hey, at
have
least
no problem
explain
doing-
it. I'm down with
since-
that. Like,
since
just
they have
explain it.
no problem changing iconic character sexuality. You know?
Oh,
But,
that's a different argument in itself.
but
oh
I'm just
my
saying,
God.
seems to
Sal,
be a
what?
thing
I
they
don't
don't
even
have-
know what's going on anymore.
what's
This
what's
is the Lego
Is this
Power
Lego
Girl.
Power Girl?
Or this is like why all I'm getting is more questions as to why we changed the comic.
Yeah,
Like-
no, because I don't have a good answer for you as to why the comic books think they need to solve, except to
Because
say
no, your wording right there is perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like they think they're solving a problem that doesn't exist.
that's right, and
That's
and
what
then
they're
they
doing.
high
They're
five
solving
each
a
other
problem
and
that
they
doesn't
like
exist.
they congratulate each other on another job well done,
Did they
and it's
give
just
her
like
an ass. Why is her ass red?
what?
Look at this.
Oh. Oh my, no, those are holes or something. I think
Oh, okay, that's the holes. I'm like, did they
those are
give her, like-
holes.
Those are Lego holes.
Yeah, but and it might not even be real.
Yeah,
But,
someone's saying it's fake. Hold on, where's the real Lego?
Well, look, we saw the children's cartoon version of Power Girl is exactly the same as the iconic costume from the comic books.
Here's
Then-
the one from the video game. So if that was a fake, then it's still pretty accurate to what the video
Okay.
game would have. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But don't change it. Like if you've already established that this is what people accept, then don't change it. Because like, why? Like, what are you trying to do? And and it could be that it's like there's a decree. It could be that like an intrepid creator is like using it as an opportunity. I don't know, but I will say that like it I think, and from speaking as a white male, as a cis white male, I can tell.
Oh, wait, we're aware of the irony of us having this discussion. for
Exactly.
45
But
minutes.
also, like, just as a quick aside, that doesn't mean the conversation shouldn't be had, and it's offensive to suggest that because we are not women or people of color for whatever reason, that seems to come up sometimes too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how could they talk about this? They're
You're
white.
not allowed to talk about it unless you have a leg in it. I don't believe in that 100% because if we get to an era where I can't talk about certain things because I'm never going to understand things better if I
Right.
can't discuss it.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
that is the point. And it's like, so when you say that, you're just trying to silence a different group of people, and it's like, what are you doing? But when it comes to Power Girl, like, leave it alone. You know, like again, Power Girl ain't knocking the doors down sales wise. Now that being said, you know, maybe it's because they're afraid to use her in some way, and it could be that internally they're like, we don't want to touch it because every time Power Girl comes up, there's a conversation. Like everyone always wants to have a conversation about Power Girl the second we use her in any high profile way. Now, I don't know if that's true, but I feel like that's probably the case, especially today. And the reality is, just let it go. Like, just go,
Just ignore it.
like the Twitterverse is upset. Oh no, that and $1 will not buy you a comic book because Twitter blowing up on your book means the book probably is doing horribly. And you know, but these comic book publishers, they think that like optics and social media is in any way a quantifiable measurement of sales and promotion, and it's just not. But you know, I think only entertain solid pitches. And if you really want to like cover your ass, then only entertain solid pitches about Power Girl from women. You know, if you're really gonna do that, like
Yeah.
if you're gonna like safeguard yourself from any controversy, and which if you are an art house, if you are legitimately a production company that makes art in any way, then you are inherently without controversy. So you will
You're
never
making art.
avoid it.
Art.
If you make anything that is good, then you will find people who think it's bad. If it is good in any way, then there will be people who think it's bad. That
Yeah.
is the measurement of good. So live with it and accept that you're going to get criticism regardless of your intent. That being said, if you like, rather than alter the character stem to stern, change the name, the power, the costume, like just make a whole new
The
character.
name is the final straw for me.
That's
Like, I
like-
get it's supposed to be a nickname or a joke, but it like if she's not going to, if we're trying to change her to Paige,
right?
like Paige, why?
That's
What was
it-
wrong with Power Girl?
It's confusing, it is unnecessary, and the reality is Power Girl, the only thing you should change with Power Girl, if you want to change it at all, is make her Power Woman. That's the only change I would ever make to Power Girl at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think Power Girl, how many other female characters have the word power in their name? It is the
None.
most like there's Wonder Woman. I think the part like 45% of why Wonder Woman is so iconic is because her name is Wonder Woman. Because
Oh,
her
yeah.
character means power and spectacle. And it's like Power Girl's could be a similar character. Power Girl could be like another Wonder Woman if DC was brave enough to use her effectively. But I think they're not, and I think they're also like more concerned with optics than they are about elevation of character. And and because if they're going to elevate the character, if they think this is elevating the character, they're not. It's all cosmetic. Because
Yeah.
any new writer could just change all that, or any new writer could disregard it, or the audience could reject it. There's any number of that. All you got to do is just be like, if you really want to, like, if you're going to do that, if you're going to cross that bridge and be that like controversial in your decision making of, well, Power Girl's too problematic, let's just make her somebody else, then you might as well just go, well, Power Girl's too problematic, just make it so that only women can write and draw her. Like, if you're, because that's essentially what you're saying by being like, she's such a problem for us, we need to change every single aspect of the
Yeah.
character. Like,
I want to wrap this up, so I'm going to go through our other couple topics really
oh
quickly.
yeah, we got a
but I
couple
do
of
want
things
to
to talk
edit.
about.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up earlier that I do find interesting. It's that the biggest competitor for comic books is manga. Okay,
Yeah.
as someone who reads manga all the time and comic books, and I find it funny that manga in Japanese culture aren't shying away from the female form in any way, shape, or form. They're also not shying away from the male form, but they're definitely treating it more of an art. To the
Right.
point of My Hero Academia is about a bunch of high school kids.
Yes,
And this kind of content is pretty, not super frequent, but this is how they treat the women.
it's par for the course. Yes,
And nobody gives it anything. Like,
I'm
no one,
sure
no
the
one
same people who
freaks out on the swimsuit episode of My Hero Academia.
well, and like, remember when there used to be '90s swimsuit, like not magazines but comic books?
Didn't they just redo that? I
That-
think
I
they
think-
just redid another
I
one.
think I heard they did, but I never actually saw it anywhere. But like, there used to be a yearly swimsuit issue, and I know for a fact that there were more women featured than men in the issue, but at least there were men featured in it,
I do
as
also
opposed
want a
to
little side note for my Hero fans over here.
as opposed to harem animes where it's all just the
Sorry.
women. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. All I wanted to do is point out this
Yes.
girl's invisible, so that they still instead of just like gave her the suit.
That's cute.
Yeah,
But but like, if you're stacking apples and oranges here, I mean, like, when Marvel and DC used to just straight up cash in on exploitation and make swimsuit issues,
Yeah.
at least they put Punisher to Speedo.
they did. And just two comments I want to talk about. Yes, those characters are 14. I do think it does become a problem in manga because they do just not care about age seemingly at times.
They do not care. That is,
No.
they do not have that conversation over there.
They do not have that conversation over there. And Cam Poster in our chat also said it is heavily criticized to an extent. I see it mostly on.
I'm
things
sure
like
it's criticized
Twitter.
here.
I was like, it's criticized here, not over there. That's why they keep making it. Like,
Yeah, that's why
you have-
nothing's
you
canceled.
Go to your local bookstore, go to the manga section, and tell me how many characters are not being in a sexy outfit or sexily drawn or whatever. Like, they
Yeah.
don't do it over there. It's
Yeah.
a big deal when someone looks normal.
I don't think that that's like a reason to do anything, but like it is it is hypocritical to like criticize one and not the other, or to, demand change from one and not the other. You know?
Oh, everyone's acting like I am aware that the age thing is an issue to an extent, but
Yeah.
again, we're still doing it.
Right. Yeah.
One of the biggest arguments that is made in my household a lot of the times is Nezuko. And if you don't know who Nezuko is, she's the younger sister of Tanjiro. I think I got his name, but either way, main character of Demon Slayer. She's the female character. She's supposed to be young, like really young. And when she
Mhm.
demons out, she gets big breasts and starts running around. And it's a constant joke of like, I think he's like, she's only 10.
Yeah.
Like it
Well, I
is
mean,
something we notice, and it's a whole
remember
different
when
discussion in itself.
in Sailor
Yeah,
Moon, like
Tanjiro, I did it right. Yeah.
in Sailor Moon, like we're talking like 30 years ago, Chibiusa's character would become the evil version of herself, who was aged up and changed, but she still
Yeah.
has the mind of a child, and it's like they
Yeah.
did that, and that's a beloved
It's so,
show
but
slash
we're not here to
cartoon,
have
you
the
know,
cultural debates. I'm aware of
No.
the problems and issues when you compare Japanese culture to American culture and how it's looked at on both sides. And that's a whole nother podcast in itself. Like,
That's very true. Yeah.
the only point I was making
Hmm.
is that in manga and in Japanese culture, it's not shied away from.
Right.
That's literally what I was trying to make there, which is why I get confused when we're so quick to cover characters like Power Girl or change her
Right.
name or try to adapt her when she's also perfectly fine in her original outfit in the kids cartoon.
Yeah, yeah. I can
Like-
see that. Like, I mean, I could see the argument or conversation being made of like, we are going to criticize and talk about the. Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, I'll just leave it at that. I was
Yeah.
like, I thought I had another idea, but it's
No,
gone.
no, we'll wrap this one up because this is already the whole episode's pretty much done. I'm gonna get these other ones. I doubt you're gonna have much to say. Marvel announced a new Dark X-Men team: Madeline Pryor, Havoc, Archangel, Gambit, Azazel, Zero,
Okay,
Albert,
Azazel.
and M-Plate.
Who's making it?
Steve Fox and art by Jonas Schwarf. I don't know either one of them.
Oh, I don't know who any of them are. Oh, I
This
saw
is
this
the
page.
X-Men by the way of Evil Dead, and we're not leaving until we burn the whole place to the ground.
Okay, I have seen this. Yeah, this is from that like that not leak, but like a reveal where they were talking about this. This is the Dark
Yeah.
X-Men. Okay, yeah, I don't know Steve Fox at all.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I'm surprised they're going to try another book that pretty much. Well, I guess Havoc, Archangel, and Gambit are the well knowns. So that'll
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think anyone's well known, but I'm like, no, Gambit is. Oh, Archangel is. Oh, Havoc kind of is. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I'm just excited to
Loki
see Emperor.
season 2 will be streaming on October 6th, and it's going to have a weekly release like it did with season 1.
Okay.
And Alligator Loki is getting his own comic series on September 13th.
That doesn't surprise me in the least. And it's like, yeah, knock yourself out. I saw the cover; it's cute. I'm like,
Marvel's Echo series will start coming out on November 9th. However, the series will not be released. Oh, yeah, this is going to be their test to see if they drop it all at once. What's going to happen? I'm wondering if it's a test for that or it's because I've heard rumors it's terrible.
I have heard that too. I
Or
also
that they're
heard
just
that it
going
was
to
like,
throw it out and call it a day.
I mean, I heard it was like on hiatus. I can't believe they actually like, because there was so little discussion. I remember hearing about it. I remember hearing that it was on hiatus. I remember hearing that it was like that it was bad, and it was like it was on hiatus for a number of reasons, but the real secret reason was because it was bad. But then I didn't even know that they shot the damn thing. Like, it's done.
Remember, our theory was that was the Daredevil project before they announced
Yes.
Daredevil?
Yeah, which is like not a bad. What I wished that were so, but I also was like, you can't announce a like a what's the term? A hearing impaired superhero, a female superhero. I'd be like, we're making this new show that's going to empower at least 2 different groups of people. Nah, it's going to be Daredevil. It's in White Battle. It's like, you can't do that. But
And I'm going to end this because I don't think you and I reacted to it, but it's super.
Mm.
It's all nothing but a teaser, so we're just going to do it here instead of an episode.
All right,
Well,
yeah.
that's today's Absolute Comics. Went off the rails a little bit, but hey, wouldn't be an episode of Absolute Comics without us going off the rails a little bit. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I'm Benny from Comic Story. That is Sal from Comic Pop. And yeah, that's the end of the show. I'm going to cut it up there. Just I know I cut you off a couple times here, Sal, and I apologize.
That's all right.
I was trying to keep things moving.
yeah.
But anyway, guys, we'll have a good one. You have a good one, and we'll see you next time.